Today, we take a deeper dive into the players' performance and grades 4 weeks into the season. Where are the Packers exceeding expectations and where are they falling short? We will tell you. We will also talk about how realistic a Romeo Dobbs extension could be. Join us for today's show.
I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm
Welcome in another episode of Sounds Gouda. Thank you all for coming back and taking a listen to us. My name is Rob Ralph. Jordan Olson could not be here today, so you are just riding solo with me today. We do have new content every Wednesday, Saturday, and Monday afternoons on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please make sure to give us a like, sub, and follow us on those platforms. Of course, we are still doing a promo every 50 new public subscribers. We're going to be raffling you in for some Sounds Good swag, and the next tier for that will be number 700. So we hope that you can get in a raffle for some Sounds Good swag. Also on our channel, we have unlocked super chats, super stickers, and super thanks. So anything you can do, including just listening, really helps and supports our channel. So upcoming shows this next Monday, no episode for a bye week. So just letting you guys know that. Wednesday, we were hopeful to grab another really good guest for you. And then, of course, Saturday, we're going to be going through and doing the Bengals preview. So first and foremost, though, guys, let's go Milwaukee Brewers. I just wanted to take a moment here. Both Jordan and I did too. This is the first playoff meeting ever with the Chicago Cubs. Of course, when we saw the playoff seeding, we saw that we had the chance to get the winner of the San Diego Padres and or the Chicago Cubs. Both bring pros and cons as far as matchup goes, for sure. Of course, for drama, for story, for narrative, for everything and everything in between. We wanted the Chicago Cubs for this. Of course we did. Crowd council of it all, the rivalry, the I-94 rivalry. I'm just so excited. So that game is today at 1 p.m. And for the love of God, please, let's do it for Uke. Just this once. Let's not pull a Milwaukee Brewers typical playoff fashion and choke this away. I really do hope, and I believe I say this every year, that this can be the year that they can finally get through. I don't think there's going to be any Woodruff for this series, but they are hopeful that they might be able to either get him back next series and or to the World Series if they do make it there. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting. Freddie Peralta takes the mound versus to be determined. We're still not sure yet who council, at least at this time, is going to put on the mound for that. So series predictions. I'll let you know that Jordan does have the Brewers in 5 games. Of course, I would expect nothing less. And I, too, as well, am going to take the Brewers in 5 games, too. I think it's going to be a great series, but I think home field is really going to help us out. And I think that we can finally get it done, and I think we can move into the NLCS for the first time, in quite a while. So let's go Milwaukee Brewers, everybody. On a bye week, hell yes. Just a brief news and notes. Brant Banks, he gets cut. And he was claimed by the Titans. So I thought Brant Banks did a really good job in the preseason. I was really liking what he was putting on tape, but he was cut. So I figured he would be claimed up pretty early, and he definitely did by the Tennessee Titans. So thank you to Brant Banks for all your service that you've done for us, and we wish and hope you nothing but the best. All right, so let's get into it. PFF grades for the Green Bay Packers at the bye week. So top 5 for offense: Jaden Reed, Jordan Love, Darian Kennard, Josh Jacobs, and Malik Heath, rounding out that top 5. Now I just want you to sit there for a second. Any surprises to you on that? Any ones that should be on that list? Maybe Tucker Kraft, right? Romeo Dobbs. Oh, that's another one that I'm thinking about on here too as well. I know PFF doesn't always have the right. It's very, very subjective. So I get it. Let's take this with a grain of salt. This is just what they're putting out there. But I think this makes for real fun and interesting conversation. So please, let's hear your comments below. Let's hear what you think. Where did they miss on this list? Who should be in this top 5 list? Who shouldn't be? Jordan Love, absolutely. Jaden Reed was balling out before he got hurt. Darian Kennard, when he's been in, he's been very good, although he hasn't had as much snaps as everybody else. So I think that definitely has a lot of context within that. And for PFF, for sure. And also, especially, we don't know like what they are and are not being graded on, and what constitutes a better grade versus a worse grade versus an inconsistent versus just a middle of the row type of grade. So definitely take it with a grain of salt, but it does bring up for some interesting I felt like Josh Jacobs was having a more difficult time getting going this year, but I don't know if it's from his running ability. I definitely don't think the offensive line has helped him out quite as much so far this year. And I thought Malik Heath has been doing a really good job jumping in there. He does a really good job as a run blocker. Obviously, he had an amazing catch there versus the Washington Commanders, but should he be in the top 10, or maybe Romeo Dobbs should be in the top 10 over there? Anyway, you can make an argument probably for one way or the other, but I feel like, at least to me, well, Romeo Dobbs should definitely be in this top 5. So let me know what you guys think. What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? Going for the bottom 5 on offense. Now you're going to see a similar theme here, though, too. And I think that this is a critical key point for the Packers to be successful after the bye week and through the rest of the first half and into the second half of the season. But let me know if you spot this trend. Rasheed Walker, Sean Ryan, Anthony Belton, Jordan Morgan, Aaron Banks. And Aaron Banks is at the lowest. Now, let's just start with Aaron Banks there for a second. I mean, I knew that when we signed him, I was thinking, okay, well, they definitely want to take a page of the Philadelphia Eagles book. Big bruising guard, can move bodies. But I looked at his injury history, though, too, as well. You look at a lot of different specific points when you're putting a big contract into somebody like that, right? He was injured quite frequently, a lot. Probably almost the same much as Jair Alexander the last few years, give or take, right? And he's been injured, pretty much this whole season. He can't seem to be healthy. He wasn't healthy through preseason. He wasn't healthy through training camp. And he's not continuing to be healthy throughout, the beginning of this year. So he hasn't really gotten a full body of work or anything that you can really put him to the test on. I'm really hopeful that he can get going and get into a rhythm, but of course, your biggest strength is being availability on the field too. So like, if he can't make it, I think that's going to be a really bad contract for the Packers. I think that there's some room to be able to get out of that next year. We shall see, but so far that has not been a great signing. Jordan Morgan, he struggles with run blocking for sure. I thought he did settle in a little bit better for the Dallas Cowboys game. He wasn't going up against the wrecking ball that is the Cleveland Browns defensive line. That'd be hard for anybody, right? And basically his real rookie year. I mean, he played a little bit last year, but this is his true rookie year, right? A true rookie year in the sense he knows the playbook, and he's learned the playbook, but as far as playing and experience. So I thought that he needs to settle into a position. They need to quit switching him around. Not everybody's a unicorn like Zach Tom, that can play multiple positions, can probably play all 5 spots on the field. I really feel like, you give him some more reps at left guard. I believe it's going to be instead of right tackle. I think they like Anthony Belton at right tackle. I think he's going to settle in, and I thought he did a good job of doing that during the Dallas Cowboys game for the most part. Anthony Belton, he's going to be a bruiser. He's going to be pretty good. If he can shore up the penalties and the execution, I think Anthony Belton is going to do a really good job for us, and is obviously a massive human being. Sean Ryan, I thought he had a pretty darn good game against the Lions, and I think he's kind of disappeared since then. And I think the grades would show in there for that. So I think he needs to be a lot better. He's in a contract year. Same with this other guy, Rasheed Walker. He's in a contract year too as well. He's had a little bit of a gauntlet though too. You get Myles Garrett, you get Hutchinson, from the Lions too as well. But I just feel like he hasn't played up to his potential and hasn't played quite up to where he could be for his contract year. So let me know what you guys think. Is there anything that's surprising on that to you? Is there anybody you think that should be on that list that isn't? I mean, it's all offensive lines. That doesn't show you anything that needs to be improved after the bye week. That's definitely a top one for us. Moving on to the defense. Top 5 defense. Micah Parsons. I mean, do we need to say any more? He's been good. He's been electric. Has he been absolutely phenomenal? No, but has he made a real tremendous impact for this defense? Absolutely. He's really elevated. He's taken a lot of double teams. He's taken a lot of chips. He's taken a lot of pressure off these other players who are starting to come out. Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness. I'm really, really hopeful Devontae Wyatt's injury isn't too bad. I've heard it was a week-to-week type of thing. So, Micah Parsons is just an absolute stud, and he's a game wrecker, and I think he's only going to get better throughout the season with the Packers as he learns Jeff Hafley's system. Isaiah McDuffie is on here. That one's a little bit surprising, but he's been pretty solid in the run defense too. He's made some really good tackles. I think he's been one of our better tacklers this season. Keyshawn Nixon, CB1. Maybe he hasn't, just because he's not going through the gauntlet of the punt return circus and parade that is our special teams. He's settled in, and he's concentrating his energy and efforts on CB1. And so far, I think he's playing really damn good. He's really, really good. I wouldn't quite call him a true elite cornerback one yet, but he's trending in that direction so far this year, and I'm really loving what he's putting on tape. Edgerrin Cooper, of course. I thought he had a pretty inconsistent game against Dallas. He missed a lot of tackles, misdiagnosed a lot of plays to lead him into not getting in there on good form for tackling, but he's an absolute stud. You're going to have a game or two or three, throughout the course of a regular season that you're just not going to perform up to snuff. Everybody goes through it, even the best of the best, So Edgerrin Cooper is a rising star. He is a stud linebacker for us. He's very quick. He showed in the first 3 games, so I absolutely love what he's doing. And I'm not surprised to see him on this list. Lucas Van Ness, top 5 defense. Let's go, baby. Let's fucking go. Let's go. That deserves a round of applause because for the season, even before Micah Parsons got traded to the Green Bay Packers, we said that this defense would absolutely take off and take another step forward towards being a championship caliber defense if Lucas Van Ness can take another step or two. If DeMarcus Covington can unleash some more technicality out of Lucas Van Ness rather than his premium bull rush, which we all know that he can do. And I've seen him put a couple of moves on film, and it's beautiful to watch. Now, does he still have room to grow? Absolutely. Does Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary having an excellent season help him out and take the attention off him? Absolutely. Well, then take advantage of it, Lucas Van Ness. Take advantage of it. Use it. Use it to elevate yourself. Use it to elevate this defense, and absolutely loving what he's doing. What are you guys surprised about as far as that one goes? Anybody on there that you think should be? Any surprises on there? Let me know in the comments. Bottom 5 defense. Carl Brooks is on here, continuing to fall out of favor for sure. I'm sure he's going to get some more playing time, though, now that Devontae Wyatt is going to be out week to week, right? But hasn't been as good. Baron Sorrell in limited snaps, as well as Carl Brooks, haven't been doing as well. Brenton Cox Jr. is in there, too. Javon Bullard. That one's not too surprising to me. I thought he had one of his better, I don't want to say best, could be one of his best games against the Washington Commanders. He really used his instincts. He snuffed out some wide receiver screens. He made, I thought, some really good tackles. I don't even know if PFF gave him a good grade on that one, but I respectfully disagree with PFF on that one, and for a lot of other things for that matter too, but good conversation. So, you know what I mean. But Javon Bullard, overall, gives me a little bit of nightmares when he's in the slot there, covering some really fast, slot gadget type of wide receivers. I know that Nate Hobbs got some run there too, a little bit, but I know we'll have to see as far as, I don't know. He's going to need a bounce back part of the season. I think he needs to put some more consistent tape. I think he needs to leverage what he did good against the Commanders and continue to do that within games. Play with a lot more instinct. Play a lot more freely. I'm confident that Hafley can put him in really good spots to succeed. So I'm hopeful that Javon Bullard can bounce back. Nazir Stackhouse is this last one on here. It's been rough. I watched that Dallas Cowboys all 22. At least the tape of Nazir Stackhouse, and he wasn't getting anything done, nor has he for most of the season. It's been pretty bad, so that's one of the reasons you like a TJ Slaton, right? And so maybe was that a good move to let TJ Slaton go? I don't know. Does he have the room to be able to grow? Absolutely he does. Warren Brenson's been a healthy scratch, but man, I think it's going to take quite the coaching, quite some sort of something to, go off in his brain for him to just completely flip the switch. So, we'll have to see. We definitely need him. We need him to be able to utilize him as far as our defensive tackle depth goes, with obviously the injury from Devontae Wyatt. So he's going to need to step up. That's the plain and simple of it. And DeMarcus Covington is going to need to coach him and get him ready. So that's it as far as the PFF grades go. Let me know what you guys think. What did you agree with? What did you disagree with? Where would you add a player? Where would you subtract a player? Any sort of positive, negative, whatever in between. I love talking with you guys on the interwebs. Love all your guys' thoughts on the Packers. So getting into some EPA slash play unit data. Our offense is third, and this is per Summer Sports, SUMER Sports, and our defense is 18th. Jordan Love, he is second in total EPA and first in EPA slash EPA of play. So Jordan Love, I think, is playing some elite football right now. I'm really loving what he's doing. Me and Jordan talked extensively that if this Packers team was going to take that next step, Jordan Love was going to have to do that. And obviously stay healthy. That's first and foremost for sure. But Jordan Love is playing some elite football right now, and I'm really excited to see what he can do in the second half of the season after the bye, as well as whenever we get Christian Watson back, which I think he'll be at practice, but then that starts that 20-day window for him to be activated and put on the actual roster. Getting into Romeo getting an extension. So if y'all remember, Khalil Shakir from the Buffalo Bills signed a 4-year, $53 million contract with an average annual salary of $13,264,500. So do you feel like Romeo Dobbs is just as good as Khalil Shakir is for the Buffalo Bills? I would say yes. I would say without Romeo Dobbs, we don't even get close to beating the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe we get close, but you know what I mean. Jordan Love security blanket catches a lot of football. As one of the best hand catchers on our team, but him and Matthew Golden, although he's gotten a lot more targets. Golden hasn't gotten as much, but Golden's caught everything so far, I believe. I think he is. And I'm sure you guys think that he is too as well. So just for a little bit more context, next year with the rollover, the Packers have about $23 million in cap space for 2026. So you can cut Jenkins, and that can save about $20 million, but you do have to replace him, right? But then you also have Rasheed Walker and Sean Ryan, who are also free agents. So you could have a starting line of Morgan, Banks, Belton, Tom from left to right. Again, another lineup question mark. You could have Tom, Banks, for the center, Morgan and Belton. You could give Sean Ryan a 3-year, $30 million plus type of contract. I'm sure that's right around the range. Maybe that's slightly a little bit over, or maybe under, plus or minus. Give her a little bit of take there, but somewhere around there. So I do think that Romeo Dobbs is worth an extension. I think that there's some interesting things that you could do if you did cut an Elton Jenkins. We just alluded to what you could do as far as like line combinations goes, and obviously I would think that you would have to draft, additional offensive linemen, which the Packers tend to do every single year. But I think this next year would be even bigger as far as that goes. All the puns intended, big offensive linemen. But yeah, there's some really unique and good things that you could do as far as getting Romeo Dobbs a contract, and I think he's definitely worth it. I think he's shown to be a very valuable part of this team. But maybe they don't. Maybe there's another scenario where they want to give Quay Walker, an extension. What would that look like? 4 years, maybe like 60 million, somewhere around that range. I think that could be right around where he could get, again, plus or minus, so nobody kill me in the comments or anybody listening. Reed and Kraft will also be seeking extensions though too. Kraft, I think, is definitely somebody you want to keep in the fold, no doubt. I do think that Reed is a little bit more expendable, especially with Matthew Golden being drafted. Sees what else they do in this upcoming year as far as wide receivers. That's just my opinion. Kraft could too get anywhere from 4 years to 60 million. But, hard to construct a roster with 3 wide receivers making more than 13 million in 2027 and beyond. So Watson, Dobbs, Reed, etc. So whatever that ends up being, you're definitely going to have to mix and match, and you're going to have to give and take is what I should be saying here. Something's going to have to give with the cap space and everything coming together. So, well, that is all that we have for you today, Packers fans. A little bit of a shorter episode without Jordan. Let me know what you think. We do have new content every Wednesday and Saturday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, like I already alluded to. Thanks for listening. Share with a friend, a family member, another Packer fan who likes to nerd out just as much as we do. Of course, we're on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please make sure to like, sub, and follow us on those platforms. And we are both on the socials. I'm at Sounds Gouda with 3 A's, and Jordan is at Olsen Jordan. Let's go, Milwaukee Brewers. Let's get it done for once. But until next time, Packers Nation, we hope that you have a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good night. Take care. Go Pack Go.
Been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up.